Hi there, everybody. This is John Drew here from Elevated Planet.
And Jolé Gabrielle here from Elevated Planet. And we want to thank you so much for joining us, all of you, especially on the live Zoom. We really appreciate you. And we do have quite a show in store for you today. And John will tell us more about it.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, this is going to be, again, these are really interesting times now because, we talk about the new Earth. We've been talking about this for the last couple of years or so that we've been doing these kind of newsletters, or programs, or videos. We're now reaching the point where all the evidence is really going to start falling into place. So, for those, and again, this has always been the question because again, I'm a relatively, what can I say? I'm on the spiritual journey, but it wasn't that long ago. I was just kind of consider myself as part of the mainstream. And when I look at the kind of things that we're putting out there now, I would have regarded it as deluded nonsense. So, that's one of the things that I do understand, that's the way that a lot of people would kind of look at this. So, yeah, excuse me a second. I'm just distracting myself there with a few more people just coming in. And we've got Dennis from New York. Well done, Dennis. Thank you very much for being here. So yeah, now today we have a section with Lee Harris and the Z's. The Z's, well, I'll go into that as we go through the program. But certainly, last week we were reporting, certainly in terms of the weather events that we've started to see unfolding around the world, the unusual weather events, and we've had yet more. I know France and Italy again have been struck yesterday by more very bad flooding. I know Canada earlier in the week as well, over on the Vancouver side, particularly had terrible flooding. So these weather events are continuing to unroll, and I think this is going to be part of what we're going to see will be natural kind of events, but we're also going to see a lot of man-made stuff. So that as the picture unfolds over these next few days and weeks and then months and years, this is all really starting to kick off now. And it was interesting because earlier today I was watching one of the pieces put out there from Pam Gregory, who's the astrologer, and she was very focused on the 3rd and 4th of November as being, from an astrological point of view, some really interesting times that could really, and here's what she was saying. She was saying that the whatever events are due to take place could be so big that it could derail the election, or not necessarily derail it, but take it into obviously the 5th of November, where things will be even more heightened, more polarized than they are already, which takes some kind of working out how does it get more polarized than it is already. But these are the energies that are out there. But there's a divine orchestration behind this. This is supposed to happen, and I think this is the comfort blanket. This is what we keep coming back to, is that this is supposed to happen. So whatever unveils itself, just know that it is taking us to a place which is so much better. So yeah. Okay, so Jolie, I'm thinking we go into our little video section. What do you think?
Yes, let's head forward.
Yeah, okay. All right, so bear with me a second. We just switch screens here.
Wait for it. Boom shakalaka! We just had a gnarly 3.3 X-class flare explode from the sun from sunspot group 3869, which on its last solar revolution on the Earth-facing side, sunspot group 3842 then gave us 4 separate X-class flares. So now already just appearing here on the eastern limb is ready to announce itself very, very loudly with this 3.3 X-class flare, which did launch a halo coronal mass ejection out into space. So we have a solar storm headed our way, impact expected around October 26th, maybe the 27th. And we still have 2 weeks to go with this big daddy, because it'll take about 7 days for it to go from the eastern limb all the way to Earth center direct bullseye, and then another 7 days to transit all the way to the western limb. And so As I've been saying, we have a very active end of October and beginning of November ahead of us. This has already started a little sooner than I expected, but I am not at all surprised by this 3.3 X-class flare.
Okay, a brief pause there. Stefan, got to love his enthusiasm as well as his knowledge. And as ever, that video will be linked on tomorrow's newsletter for anybody who wants to see it in totality, and it is interesting. The 3.3 X-class flare, the sunspot group 3869, I don't know about where you are, but it's the talk of the village over here. So solar storm for 26th or 27th of October. So the question is, what will the impact be? Or maybe you should unplug your toaster around then. And it's interesting to think that in 4 days, this sunspot group will actually be directly Earth facing. And at the same time, our electromagnetic field around the Earth is very depleted at the moment. So our planet is set to become even more highly electrified. So whatever that might mean, well, we won't have to wait too long to find out. So let's see where that takes us. Maybe you want to get your rubber boots out. Anyway, so there we go. We've gone as far as the sun. But while we're heading out galactically, we might as well keep going and bring in the Z's, channeled by Lee Harris. So they are a galactic collective of 88, and they're here to share their enormous wisdom at this time of transition. They've been a great source of information for us throughout the last year or two. Their wisdom is deep. We love them. Deep gratitude to Lee Harris and the portal for this video. It's something that I've subscribed to for quite some time now. Check out Lee Harris Energy. Comes recommended for those who are interested. Take it away, the Z's.
Staying in your heart and above will be very powerful for many of you this month. We are not saying avoid any lower feelings or detach from any lower feelings you have. If you have feelings that pertain to the lower chakras and feel lower in your body, by all means let them up and out. That is what you do. But for many of you, practices that will keep you focused on your heart and your vision are going to be very powerful for you in the coming weeks, particularly with some of the tumult on the planet. But we will say that what will be noticeable for you as you go through the next 4 to 6 weeks is things will be more surprising than you believe. And we say that not because we believe any of you need a big warning that things will be surprising, but because some of you, because of your fear or anxiety of this period that you are living through, you're trying to know what's going to happen and decide what's going to happen as a way of feeling safe. There is an anxiety for you of what might play out, and so you are trying to guess correctly or put your energy behind the prediction that you believe is correct when it comes to, in this case, the outcome of an election. And we will tell you that outcome is not decided yet. That outcome is still in transition, and it won't get more decided until the week before. So many different things can happen. But what we would point you to is staying in your heart and your visionary mind no matter what. No matter what occurs in the coming 4 or 5 weeks, you are going to see a planetary evolution and transition in the years and decades to come. How you arrive there and in what kind of shape will be affected by the outcome of not just this election, but any moves worldwide that relate to power and people. You are living through a time where your power systems have become, for the majority, corrupted and infected. Doesn't mean there aren't good individuals in those systems and more going in, trying to liberate. There are many good-hearted, good-minded people working to try and liberate these systems from the outside. But you are going to go through a period in the next couple of years that will be a somewhat radical reshaping of how things have been, but it won't come from inside politics. It will not. It will come from outside. It will come from people. And it will come from the recognition that your planet is changing. And the supposed systems that protect you are not doing a great job all of the time with that. And we are not pointing the finger here. What we are saying is, For too long, there has been no dialogue between people and the power systems. There has instead been a hierarchical, this is what's happening and this is what we will tell you to do. That is about to change. And that is going to radically shift between now and 2030. So you are in a time of reform and storm. Storm allows for a reformation. So what you will find is many of you right now are feeling the disillusionment around your power systems, not just because you don't like some of the low ways that certain people in that system think they should play the game. Quite literally, it's like a boxing match, which is insanity. But it is what you have been entrained to expect or allow. Well, people will not be allowing it in quite the same way in the years to come. But what we can tell you is the illusion of the old way of doing things is breaking for you. So your disillusionment is actually not just what your human mind and emotions are doing when you look at the story of how this is all playing out on Earth. No, it's far bigger than that. You're feeling disillusioned because you know this system is not actually designed to protect and hold you through this next phase. Not through any fault of its own or any particular individuals who are in there trying to create transformation. Certainly by some of the individuals, we will say behind the scenes, with their fingers on the levers, who do not care for humanity in the way they should. There will be reckonings for those individuals in the years to come. And that is part of the tumultuous time that you are in. But the disillusionment for you is coming from the reality in your body that things cannot continue the way they did. And there is both a grief in that for you, because there were many wonderful things that happened while you were still in the illusion that things could continue. Many wonderful life experiences, just as there can be wonderful life experiences happening for people in troubling times. So what you are having to undo is your black and white thinking around all of this.
Okay, so another little pause point there. Things will be more surprising than you believe, said the Z's. You know, again, you can't help but have your mind racing around all the possibilities of what this change or these changes are going to look like. And so it's kind of a very human thing. Now, for my part, you know, I don't find myself dropping into fear about this, just curiosity. But I understand why people would be falling into fear with some of this stuff. And this is what they're saying is, you know, just allow, go with the flow. And again, like Pam Gregory has told us many times before, get on your Eagles Perch. You know, as you see the drama unfold, don't get drawn into it. So therefore, you're not quantumly entangling with the events that are going on that you would rather not be seeing. Quantumly entangling with that heart-based energy is way more vital to get into that higher state of consciousness, of love, of gratitude. That is where we can add an awful lot for humanity. Where this will take us is to our world of unspeakable beauty that we talk about a lot. So it's really exciting. During this time, we are going to see a planetary evolution and transition in the years and decades to come. So this is far bigger than just the election. And as they say, any moves worldwide that relate to power and people will be affecting our immediate future anyway. And our systems are corrupted and infected. And, you know, to me, this is just a very obvious statement. You know, whether you look at it from a political perspective, whether you look at it from a corporate perspective, whether you look at it from the warmongering perspective, fear-mongering, this is all very low vibrational. So, you know, everything is due to change and everything will change. You know, the economic systems are going to bust apart. And it is coming, I like the idea that this is coming not from existing systems like government. This is actually coming from the people, we the people, effectively raising our collective consciousness. And at some point, the scales tip in the favor of the new Earth paradigm. So, you know, the more people that get behind this. So what do you think, Jolé?
It's sort of like the 100th monkey theory, where when no matter where in the world the monkeys are, when the 100th monkey learns to crack open that coconut, all the monkeys all over the world know how at that point to crack the coconut. And so when we work on ourselves and our energy and we start to vibrate higher and our frequency increases, it's like we can drag humanity up to our frequency and our vibration. And that's where change begins, truly, is with us.
I like that. I think that's really good. It's like the Nos Populi primate section, and we can kind of like work on this together as monkeys all around the world and
Yes,
raise the vibration. What could be better than that?
absolutely.
Cracking. Okay, take it away, the Z's.
Just because a candidate you might not want in power goes into power, it does not mean that that one human individual has the power to affect everybody. And in fact, we will say that at this time in human history, it is actually harder to do that than ever before. If we go back 100 years in human history, it was easier to do that because there was far more control of information. There was far less, shall we say, social connections than there are now on a worldwide level. And you may argue that people are not connecting because they're doing it through technology. But what technology has done, it has given you all a map that you previously did not have access to. So what we will tell you is this period of human history is designed to be transformative. And the nature of you as a collective is what will decide how you experience that and how you navigate it. And even if there are certain outcomes, particularly around this election, do not expect things to go the way they look. Meaning, whatever happens in the next month or two, it will be affected by the power of what is shaping up for your next couple of years. So, notice the part of you that might want to overly buy into the emotional and mental story that is also forgetting that today you are alive. In this moment, you are alive and you are living a life. And you are not just living a life, you're creating it. You're participating in it. You're engaging with people. You are making things happen. You are doing things. You are life force on earth. And just because some deadened life forces are arguing about politics, it doesn't mean that you have to feel that you are doomed because these people are in charge. They may be in charge of the system that is in transformation, yes, but you are actually in charge of the direct experience you are having on any given day. The immediate experience you are having in your soul, in your awareness, in your energy field, and in your immediate choices. This is why even those who have been imprisoned in what you call a prison or a jail for many, many years, some of them have reached enlightenment inside those walls because they were able to find and connect with themselves. Even people in the most horrendous of situations, some of them have managed to find their sense of inner peace and connection. So, be very careful about giving the power to an external situation for your life. We understand there are ramifications and we are not playing that down, but be very careful, those of you who are giving a little too much power to it. It is a system that is low vibration that needs to elevate. There are individuals inside that system who are capable of helping it to happen, but there are going to need to be some ties cut in a major way over the coming years, and that is already underway. So, unless you are one who is a political activist, or it is your job to be a voice to this, and if it is your job, congratulations for doing your mission and your part on the planet, we would advise remembering that in the grand scheme of a life, you are moving through something called a year and a month and a week and a day. But when you get to the end of your life, you will zoom out and look at the whole thing. So, perspective is very important right now because, ironically, you holding a vibration like that around this creates room for the highest outcome. So, with that said, we also understand that many of you are coming deeply into your hearts at this time in the most beautiful way. Many more of you than ever before are able to access a feeling of heart presence, a feeling of heart calm. And that is good. That is by design. You have earned the space that you are creating in your body. So enjoy it.
Right, we're back. Just bear with me a second. Just see a little chat thing here. Aha, Anita. Glad to have you here, High Priestess. So actually, it's quite interesting. We have Anita here, who is from Italy, and I met her over in Sedona earlier this year when I was over on a Greg Braden retreat. And one other member of our recent community who's just joined us, a lady called Rua, who's over in Massachusetts. I had an interesting conversation of this with her this week that actually took me back to the conversation I had with Anita while we were out there hiking around Bell Rock. One of the things, and this is why this is actually relevant to this conversation now, I did an interview with Rua this last week, and it was beautiful. I love this. It's like an hour-long conversation. I'm going to keep coming back to this. The reason that I had focused in on this, because what I realized with Rua, she's very deeply spiritual. She's been doing this for many decades, but she has actually seen a glimpse of the future. Now, you know, you may be familiar with the work, say, for instance, of Dolores Cannon, who did the quantum healing hypnosis technique, which took people back into past lives and often would help to cure them from ailments that had carried forward into this life. It was an ancestral kind of thing. Well, with Rua, she'd done this going back into the 1980s that this took place. But what actually happened is that she went forward into the future and she saw what the new Earth is actually going to be like. Now, at some point, I'm going to release that video, maybe even in this next week, because I think people need to hear this. And it was beautiful. But the joy of it is that the Earth survives. We know that there's going to be stuff kicks off over these next few weeks, months, and years. But Earth survives. And what she saw was a place of absolute beauty and the energy of the people who were there. And the level of consciousness was so high that, you know, and again, Rua will explain this to you on the interview. But that was one of the things that the people sort of stood round her as she was in this new Earth situation. And they were kind of like holding hands, or they were, you know, holding energy for her and actually infusing energy. And that's one of the reasons I always remember back to when Anita and I, we were hiking around Bell Rock. I was explaining to her about this energy kind of thing, and she went into a bit of a trance, and she had this vision, and she'd had the vision back in Italy, and it came back to her again. Because the reason I call her High Priestess is because she went back to a past life where it had been her function as a high priestess to channel this energy. So you pick up the energy of the people around you and you're able to direct it in a way, say, for instance, if they were building the pyramids, it would be used to, their energy could be used to shape stones, to levitate, to move things into position. You know, the kind of stuff that we don't even realize that this is even feasible these days. But yeah, that kind of, I just wanted to mention that because that interview that I had with Rua was very special. And Anita, we're going to be pulling you in before too long as well, because we've got to talk about your Dr. Joe Dispenza things. And she's a big fan of Dr. Joe, and she's got an event with him in Switzerland, actually, I think in February. But she did the walk for the world kind of thing. So one of the things we're trying to focus with at Elevated Planet right now is to focus on the things that are going on in the world, which are pulling people together, which is why this Nos Populi thing comes into its own. And again, you know, anybody who wants to be part of our Nos Populi community, All I have to do is to get you onto our distribution list. So just send me an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, or go onto our elevatedplanet.life website, and you'll see there's a contact page there. You can drop your details through there, along with any questions or any other thoughts that you might have. This is a community, so this is not just a one-way communication. We are open, and we welcome everybody who cares to join us to join us. So please do exactly that. So I think, to me, where I see the world now, this is a time of divine orchestration. We're releasing the dense energies of the old earth, and this is what we're going to see. It's making way for the new. And as Pam Gregory, the astrologer, will tell us, and we've tapped into Pam's wonderful work a lot, this is all written in the stars. And you can draw comfort from this, because this is supposed to happen. So even as you see these pretty dense energies start to play out, just know this is the way that it is supposed to be. Or as Drumvalo Melchizedek would say, or Greg Braden, our good friend Greg Braden, they'll tell us it's been written in all the ancient texts. The War Scroll from the Dead Sea Scrolls that were discovered in the 1940s and 50s, the War Scroll tells of the sons of darkness against the sons of light in one final battle, which takes place somewhere in the Middle East, right? And there's a pretty narrowed down area that is mentioned within the texts. In the Bible, you've got the book of Revelation, John chapters 21 and 22, talking about a new heaven and a new earth. The old earth has died away, effectively. Or you go to the Hopi, the Native American prophecy. And I know Anita, again, High Priestess Anita, is a big fan of the Hopis. She spent some time with them while she was over in Sedona as well. But also the Mayan prophecy, which we were all familiar with, 2012, it's the end times, the end of the world as people saw it. But it wasn't. It's just the beginning of the new cycle, the new 13,000-year cycle. It's not quite 13,000 years. It's slightly less than that. It's 12,800 and something. But the new cycle began at that point. But it's not just like flicking a light switch, because there's a 36-year period, 18 years before 2012 and 18 years after 2012, that transfer of energies takes place from that old era into the new era. The new era takes us into this heart-based Christ consciousness, if you want to call it that, heart-based consciousness, the unity consciousness, out of the duality of the last 13,000-year cycle. Now, what happens is that the old energies don't want to give up without a fight. So that is what we're going to see. So, but it's in, all the prophecies of the indigenous nations around the world. It's evidence in so many different places. And this is the reason why we're here on the planet right now. We're here to experience the old earth in her final days. We're here to witness the transition of the birth into the new earth. It's the ultimate honor to be on the planet right now. Honestly, and sometimes at some stage you may be looking back and think, well, why would I have chosen to be here now? Actually, no, you'll understand when we're back on the other side. You'll look back and say, oh, now, wow, what an honor it was to be there during that time. So don't get distracted by the external noise. Okay, stay on your Eagles Perch, as Pam Gregory would tell us, and just know you are witnessing something that has never happened before, and it is all happening to fulfilling divine purpose. Now, find your place of joy, of love, of laughter. This is basically what everybody whether you're talking about the channeled angels by Ann Tucker, the ascended masters through Sarah Landon, and so many, they're talking about finding your joy. Because once you realize what is actually happening, we're elevating consciousness. We're getting to a place where we'll ultimately finish up into the fifth dimension, where these dense energies can no longer exist. You can't have war. You can't have the hatred. You can't have the division energy that we're seeing playing out right now, because it has to be. It has to be seen. It has to be released so that we can elevate ourselves. So we're witnessing something that's never happened before, but it's all happening to fulfill divine purpose. Find your place of joy, of love, of laughter, and happiness despite the chaos, because Nos Populi is heading to a world of unspeakable beauty, and you have an open invitation to join us on that journey, a journey of creation, because we're going to step into our creative power, and we're going to create the world that we want rather than the world that we see around us right now. So we will step fully into our power, and it doesn't get any better than that. So, Jolé, can I bring you in, please?
Absolutely. Here I am. I think you summed that up so nicely, and as we move into this next, section, it's going to be kind of what we're going to be meditating about, because we really want to get comfortable in our own bodies. We want our spirit and our soul to stay present during this time because of what we're able to create. This is a terrible thing for me to say, but let's just remember this. When there's blood on the streets, right? They say it's time to buy. That's like the real estate thing. And even when there's this going on, it's time for us to really mobilize our own energy and support those around us that are also positive, because this right here is the opportunity to raise the vibration, because everything is so unstable, right? So if it's unstable, then we have the opportunity to up level instead of be dragged back down. So that's why when we embrace the impermanence and the uncertainty, we are sure to be able to kind of ride that wave, especially if we do it with joy and understanding that it's like, you got to think about it. You can go further with less, correct? You think of a swimmer or a cyclist, they shave all their hair, they lose weight, they let go. And I just mean that from a spiritual perspective. So let's look at this as an opportunity, not as something that is so much of a challenge.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think that is a super important point. This is one of the things that I felt was important for us to focus upon, because I do believe that we are going to see a lot of things that we would regard as dense. One of the things that always has fascinated me is kind of like when you look at Buddhist philosophies and you look at that, the impermanence thing, which is a big part of the three main things that Buddhism is about. It's the idea that, we are kind of taught, we're entrained to value security and safety and knowing what's going to happen next. And yet Buddhist philosophy talks about impermanence, right? And also then you've got Deepak Chopra is going to do his piece, which is about the wisdom of uncertainty. And these things are really important, because we're kind of encouraged into this idea of safety. But it's a false kind of idea, because nothing is ever the same. We're on a satellite traveling around the sun at 67,000 miles an hour. Nothing is standing still. Everything's in constant motion. Everything is in constant change. So what you say is absolutely right. As I see it, this is it's important that people kind of get their head around the fact that, there is a power to impermanence. There is a power to uncertainty, because you're opening up the field of all possibilities as opposed to narrowing it down.
Yeah, and the word stability comes to mind, even though that is, there is still some stability in the atoms and the cells that are making you up, right? And although they're constantly in flux, there's still some stability to them. So what is the stability? The stability is life, the joy of being here, the joy of going through this experience. Your atoms and your cells are still feeling that energy. So hopefully we can tune into that love, and we can send that out in all of its impermanence and all of its, uncertainty. There can be a stability in that.
Yes.
I know it's an oxymoron or whatever you want to call it, but that's how you continue to, I guess, raise the vibration, let go of the attachments, but realize that that's the stability.
Okay, so with that said, we're going to go to this next section then, which is comes from a blog that I did going back in recent times, again, about the power of impermanence, but then it goes into Deepak and some of the brilliant work that Deepak has put out there over the decades, and tapping into that wisdom. So I think that without further ado, we will just go straight to that right now, which then follows directly into Jolé's guided meditation visualization. So here we go. The wisdom of uncertainty and the empowerment of impermanence. I'm always curious to explore spiritual philosophies. I've discovered it can reinforce certain universal values that often run contrary to the way we live our westernized lives today. For instance, karma, rebirth, and impermanence are three foundational beliefs of Buddhism. Impermanence tells us that change is a natural part of life, therefore not to be feared. However, our westernized programming and conditioning encourage us to fear change and seek safety. We've been trained to fear the unknown as it keeps us easier to control. We have become addicted to safety and comfort, and like many addictions, it leaves us feeling unfulfilled. This is because an obsession with safety and comfort overrides our connection to that vibrant energy field that represents that field of all possibilities. To delve into this a little deeper, there are countless examples of where extreme change has happened in the lives of people, often with hardship associated, and yet the victims will often tell you that they never felt more alive than when life's safety net was pulled away from under them. It could have been a battlefield situation, a natural disaster, or anything that shakes us meaningfully out of our safe existence. This does not mean they were having fun, in the conventional sense at least, but the enforced uncertainty, often along with that sense of community camaraderie or examples of selfless humanitarian acts, creates aliveness. So the question is, do we really need that safety net in the first place? This part of Buddhist philosophy aligns perfectly with universal law. The eighth law is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This law tells us that energy is always moving and always changing, and we and everything around us is made of energy. And then, the 11th universal law is the law of rhythm. This law tells us that nothing is permanent. If we turn to the 7 spiritual laws of success, the 6th law is the law of detachment. Amongst many other things, it teaches us of the wisdom of uncertainty. Uncertainty is where pure creativity and freedom lies.
The search for security is an illusion. In Vedic wisdom, the answer to this whole search is what we call the wisdom of uncertainty, which means that the search for security is actually an attachment to the known. And what's the known? The known is our past. It's just the prison of past conditioning. There's no evolution in that, absolutely no evolution at all. And when there is no evolution, there is stagnation, entropy, disorder, and decay. Relinquish your attachment to the known, step into the unknown, and you will step into the field of all possibilities. In your willingness to step into the unknown, you will have the wisdom of uncertainty factored in. And this means that in every moment of your life, you will have excitement, adventure, mystery. You will experience the fun of life and have an exuberance and zest for living. Every day, you can look for the excitement of what may occur in that field of all possibilities. When you experience uncertainty, you are on the right path. So don't give it up. You don't need to have any idea of what you'll be doing next week or next year, because if you have a very clear idea of what's going to happen and you get rigidly attached to it, then you shut out a whole range of possibilities. One characteristic of the field of all possibilities is infinite correlation. The field can orchestrate an infinity of space-time events to bring about the outcome that is intended. But when you are attached, your intention gets locked into a rigid mindset and you lose the fluidity, the creativity, and the spontaneity inherent in the field. When you get attached, you freeze your desire from that infinite fluidity and flexibility into a rigid framework which interferes with the whole process of creation. Now, this doesn't take away from the law of intention, from goal setting. It's simply saying that you want to go in that direction, you have this goal, but between point A and point B, there's an infinity of possibilities. With uncertainty factored in, you might change direction in any moment if you find a higher ideal or if you find something more exciting. And you're also less likely to force solutions on problems, which enables you to stay alert to opportunities. That's the whole process of evolution. You don't force solutions. When you force solutions on problems, you only create new problems. But when you put your attention on the uncertainty, and you witness the uncertainty, while you expectantly wait for the solution to emerge out of the chaos and the confusion, that what emerges is something very fabulous, something very exciting.
Beautiful. So take a deep breath in and exhale as you find a comfortable place to sit or lay down with back support. As you put your feet flat on the floor, your palms face up on your thighs. For those of you laying down, please do so. Keep your feet flat on the floor for the beginning part of the meditation. As you bring your awareness to your chest and you breathe with the rhythm of your body, I want you to please command your heartbeat to sync up with your breath. From a loving space, I want you to please visualize, create, and imagine a beautiful grounding cord of a natural earth element connected to your first chakra, 6 inches in diameter, moving through Mother Earth, through the crust of her lithosphere. And then she begins to travel at the speed of love, your grounding cord, down through the asthenosphere and root itself into Mother Earth. And now those golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubble mobilize on the inside and the outside of your grounding cord, cleaning off anything you're ready to let go of and release, any disease, any illness, while simultaneously your aura is being pulled into 1.5 feet around you, 18 inches in front of you, behind you, to the right and to the left of you, above and below you, as your higher self then appears and stands at the power position above your aura layer as your astral body snaps itself in, feet in feet, knees in knees, hips in hips, hands in hands, elbows in elbows, shoulders in shoulders, head in head, fitting inside of you like a hand fits inside of a glove. And as you breathe with the rhythm of your body and know that your heartbeat and your breath supports all of your systems, and as your soul architecture locks in, you're now going to visualize the bottoms of your feet opening like the lens of a camera as you call in 15% earth energy of a color that resonates with you, to pull in the bottoms of your feet and travel up the side channels of your legs as your crown opens and the beautiful cascading of heavenly cosmic gold light knows when your crown opens to come cascading down from the heavens. Purity of cosmic divine life force energy raining down on your higher self, your aura layer, and then as it begins to focus itself down into the crown, saturating each part of your brain, superpowering the positive transmitters and neurotransmitters, cleaning up those synapses, shutting down the negative ones, opening up the positive ones, moving down into that prefrontal cortex, working with that hippocampus, the amygdala, going into the cerebrum, the cerebellum, the medulla oblongata, the pineal, the pituitary, working its way down the limbic system. And then as it focuses itself down each vertebra, the nervous system, that vagus nerve starts waking up, sending those positive messages out into those cells as that spiritual nervous system starts to lock in and stretch out into that aura layer, which then superpowers your electromagnetic field, sending out love. As you open your heart at this moment, and that earth energy and that cosmic life force energy powers your atoms and pushes them out of your heart into your aura layer, blanketing, wallpapering the inside of your aura layer with love, so much so it begins to push out into the outer layer of your aura. Stay here as you watch this love populate your aura layer thoroughly. Every part of it is just pulsating. Your electromagnetic field is just sparking with that unconditional love that the universe recognizes. So sit here and see yourself reaching your goals. Where's your success, your optimal health, your financial prosperity, your spiritual development, your ability to connect and illuminate and enlighten your environment and those around you. As this beautiful energy then reaches out and begins to show you your beautiful grid, your toroidal field. So as you sit in the energy of your success, of your optimal wellness and health, of your beautiful loving relationships, of your ability to transform negative energy into positive energy, while sitting in impermanence and uncertainty, the love and the joy of that. But that grounding cord and that mortal coil is strong because you love life. You love being here. You are a channel of light and blessings. So as that earth energy and that cosmic life force energy, that 85% cosmic gold, that 15% earth energy is of a color that resonates with you, is pumping out of your feet, hands, and crown chakras, filling up your aura layer that's 1.5 feet around you and coated and filled with unconditional love that's being pushed out into your toroidal field. And that grid line is being lit up, and that electromagnetic field is powered with love. And you're just magnetizing in because the universe recognizes your energy. And so now it's just filling you up with all of these positive things, powering up your soul architecture so that the universe can mirror back to you your highest good, the highest good of that and your family, your community, your environment, of Mother Earth. As that toroidal field lights up, hold the space, program it with that positive energy. As that pyramid with the capstone appears and that white light then begins to encompass you like a pillar coming down from the heavens. As that gold light within it is still raining down, that 85% cosmic gold, just filling up every part of you. As you hold the space for your highest good, I want you to see it as you breathe with the rhythm of your body, knowing your heartbeat is synced up with your breath. And in all of this instability, impermanence, and uncertainty, there is certainty of love, certainty of compassion, a certainty of faith. There is a permanence of the divine filling up every cell of your body and of everyone else's in humanity, up-leveling. There is stability in the interconnectedness of each one of us. So as you beam out this positive energy from a heart-centered space, as you just keep that love flowing out into your environment, hold the space of your highest good and the highest good of your neighbor, your sister, your brother, the highest good of Mother Earth and humanity and the universe, as you lock in with that positive energy of self-love, of abundance, prosperity, detachment, impermanence, divinity. Breathe with the rhythm of your body and hold the space. Allow for this visualization of positivity, divinity, problem solving, success to fill up all of the space within the space with that golden life force energy. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body and you allow for this energy to propagate, and your electromagnetic field to just spark with that loving energy. Practice holding the space. You're rooted, you're grounded into Mother Earth. The grounding cord that is 6 inches in diameter, clean, clear, and filled with gold light. Your aura is 1.5 feet around you. Your higher self is above you in the power position. Your astral body is snapped in. So now, as you see yourself where you want to be, and we begin to close the gap, I want you to see 8 golden suns above your head, stacked. Have the Creator just stack them above your head. Inside of that gold light, that white light, and now bring one down. Let it bounce through the aura layer, down through your higher self, through the aura layer, into your crown, coming down through you and down your grounding cord as that golden rose-shaped scrubbing bubbles go all the way down, 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 down into the core of Mother Earth, and they sizzle, turn into positive creative life force energy for anyone to use. And these lower chakras bring those golden suns down. 1, 2, 3, let those golden suns extend and expand and mix in with that earth energy and that cosmic divine life force energy. Bring down that 5th heart into the 4th chakra, and the rest of them down into 5, 6, and 7. Let them extend and expand, mixing in with that earth energy and that cosmic divine life force energy as it spreads out into the aura layer, superpowering even more that electromagnetic field, lighting up that toroidal field as that love just pours out of your heart, locking into the ley lines of Mother Earth, sending out those messages as that pyramid with the capstone and that white light just encompasses you, spreads out, 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 encompassing all of Mother Earth as that loving energy. And those cells just bounce up against each other. I want you to sit in that love and that creative energy as you see yourself optimally healthy, abundant, and with relationships that are loyal, fulfilling, that support you and your highest good. As you breathe with the rhythm of your body and know your heartbeat is synced up with your breath. Hold the space. I want you to see it. How's it working? How's that essence sprouting out of your feet, hands, and crown chakra while some earth energy and cosmic energy is coming in? What do those heart-shaped atoms look like leaving your heart, populating your aura layer? Get into the details of the earth energy and the cosmic divine life force energy, mixing in your grounding cord, all of this energy. Get into the details, and then get into the details of your highest good. knowing that you are a divine being, channel of light and blessings. So now, take a deep breath in for 4 counts. I want you to hold it for 4 counts as you exhale for 4 counts. And close those feet chakras and allow for that earth energy to recede back into Mother Earth. As you take 4 breaths in, deep breath, you hold it for 4 counts, and you exhale for 4 counts. Please close your hand and your crown chakras and let that golden light recede back through that white light up into the heavens, and let that energy settle into your aura layer and your toroidal field. You want to say, basking in the white light that is encompassing the entire earth, as well as staying rooted and grounded into Mother Earth. As you take another deep breath in for 4 counts, hold it for 4 counts, and exhale for 4 counts. As you close your heart chakra, there's enough love there for everybody. And when you are ready, you can open your eyes.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jolé. I love that. I love the permanence amongst the impermanence as well. The permanence of joy, of divinity, of love, and all that. You know, those high frequency emotions. It kind of just, you know, you can't help but end up in a world of unspeakable beauty after that. So,
Yes, yes.
okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jolé. And just one final comment really to our audience is just thank you very much for being here with us today. And you know, we're going to continue to do this on Zoom for a little while ahead. So if you have anybody who cares to join us, then all we need to do is to get them on our distribution list to become part of Elevated Planet and part of our Nos Populi community that will be looking to reach out and help to elevate the frequencies of the world around us, as well as ourselves. So just send an email to johndrew@elevatedplanet.life, or you can access us through our elevatedplanet.life website. And we welcome your thoughts, your comments, and anything that you care to share with us. Oh yeah, and the usual thing that, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, on the recording, please give us one of those likes, subscribe to our channel, share it as wide as you care to. Anything you want to add, Jolé?
Just we have a tremendous amount of gratitude for doing this work. We're so blessed and grateful that you guys have chosen to join us. And if there's anything you guys would like us to talk about or work on, or you have any questions, please feel free to comment or send us an email, because we're always looking to support our community in any way that we can.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you, Jolé. Appreciate that. And once again, thank you all for being here today. And, you know, we're here and looking forward to next week when we can do this all over again. Thank you, Jolé. Thank you, everybody. And we look
Yes.
forward to seeing you in a week's time.